Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking to our distinguished guest, Mr. Habib Rahman, about his involvement in human rights work. Back when he was in his school in a small place in Bangladesh called Kulora, he got involved on the 21st February Memorial Day. After his graduation from Dhaka University and a lot of involvement in human rights issues, he came over to London. How did you get involved in these issues here in the UK?
I said, you rightly said that at a very early age,
Right.
I got acquainted with the freedom and human rights activities, people's rights. And I was very frustrated in 60s in Dhaka. I was involved in the movements. And just to touch on it, now 21 February is a mourning day for whole nation, comes out in millions.
Yes.
I remember in 1965 or 66 with a friend of mine, he lives in America now. We went to Shahid Minar, sheepishly, no one coming, 5-6 people came, and we wanted to give flowers to the Shahid's Minar.
Yeah.
And this was the thing. And while the movements and all this thing, I finished my graduation from Dhaka University, and I got admitted to UCL, University College London. And my family, so that I got so involved in politics, it's better for me to go outside from there, I must say, and in a way pushed me to come here. But once you become a human rights activist, you are a human rights activist. I came in here, first thing I looked for in UCL, associations, students union, I got in student union movements,
Right.
and those kind of things, the work. And I came in 1969, and then 70, I was studying, and they started Liberation War, 1971.
Right.
I got disconnected from the family like everyone else. I got involved in a liberation movement here. And I should mention here, it's not my credit, the first committee we formed for the liberation, first committee for Bangladesh, the late Ghosh Khan was the president, I was the secretary.
Yes.
First office we opened at number 1 Euston Road. People
Yes,
do
yes.
not know the history.
Yes,
of
when
that.
I was
And-
interviewing Michael Barnes,
Yes.
he did mention this.
Oh, he did. Yeah, okay. So I was secretary. And there was a friend of ours, Farooq, he's a journalist
Yes.
here. He wrote a book and he mentioned that there. So I got involved in there. At the same time, of course, university education is very difficult here. You have to be, I was detached from the family and everything. I changed my subject. I was a science student. I became an art student because I couldn't do the practical exams and
Right.
practical studies in the evening. I had to work in the evenings. And I was working part-time, and a friend of mine might be watching. I told him, and he says, mention my name, Farooq. He says, come and work in a restaurant. He became a restaurant owner in West End, but not in Indian restaurant, that in hotel industry. We were working in English companies. I was working in the evening to earn my money, but I became activist all the time in that time. So what happened when I came out of university in 1973? I joined a private industry. It's a catering industry,
Right.
as a manager.
In
the
London.
management in London. And I saw, this is a very significant time for me. I saw the migrants worker, and that time migrants worker in that industry, mainly Spanish, those who are EU nationals now, Spanish waiters and chefs, and Portuguese waiters and chefs. Some of them are from Tunisia, Algeria, not EU countries,
yeah.
Egyptians. They were working in those industries, and they were exploited. They couldn't join the union. They were exploited working 70, 80 hours a week. And I was telling those people, workers working under me, some of them, and I was saying to them that, look, why don't you join union and fight for your rights? Because I was, and then they joined union, and the company realized that I was instigating those workers to join union. Union got very much involved in that, and then that became, in 70s, there was a famous movement mainly migrant workers movement. One was Grunwick. This was a photo lab. People were striking, Grunwick workers. And Ghana Steakhouse. They have got all over West End. There are 22 or 32 restaurants. They had big restaurants. And they were all the staff, they came out on strike. And they made me the chair of the strike committee of that. So I was guiding them what to do with the union. And just to say that that time, secondary picketing was allowed. And miners, factory workers, Ford workers, they came and joined those strikes, the picketing. Oxford Street was blocked, thousands of people. This is the first recognition I got, national exposure I got, that I was involved in the movement of the workers' movement. And then I got, the time passed by, and late 70s, I got involved. I saw the Brick Lane, the anti-racist movement. As you know, there's a huge anti-racist movement. I came and joined that anti-racist movement. Time to time, I used to live outside where I was in North London, come to Brick Lane, join, seeing them. And that time there is a job came in Tower Hamlet Law Center, which was a legal organization. And then I applied for the job. And a friend of mine, I already mentioned his name, Ian Martin, and he was talking to me. He was in JCWI. He introduced me to JCWI that time as a member of JCWI. Right. I joined as a member of JCWI. And he became Secretary General of Amnesty International. And he said, you should join Tower Hamlet Law Center and do some work for your own community. And I joined there. I stayed in Tower Hamlet Law Center. For your audience, spectators, they will know that 15 years I worked there. I did very important cases there, the people were family reunion cases from Tower Hamlet Law Center. And there I got involved.
It was a free service.
Free service and the legal service that time. We don't, this was funded by council and other authorities. We got also Lord Chancellor Department's money, and we are running those kind of things. And that time, while I was in Tower Hamlet Law Center, I became, the people made me the chair of TAJ, Tower Hamlet Association for Racial Justice, which was a race relation organization. I was the acting chair. And he's dead now, Bishop of Stepney, Jim Thompson, a friend of mine, he was the chair. And then I got the people from my country, they invited me to become secretary of the Welfare Association. This was quite a famous organization from Bangladeshis. And I'm proud to say today, the welfare building you see in Fournier Street, I don't know, I know that it's closed and no activities there, but that building's renovation grant, I applied and I got that grant, and that renovation took place. And then I became the chair of Nazrul Center, founding chair of Nazrul Center. It's
on Hanbury Street or something?
Hanbury Street. And the Nazrul Center was a cultural center. Tasadduq Ahmad, now he's no longer. Fakhruddin Ahmed and others were there, in Brick Lane. They asked me, Razanuddin Jalal and others, they asked me that here is a center, let's do is a cultural center. We went and formed that, the center, built the center or bought that place.
I know you were the catalyst, but who provided this? The council?
It's council mainly. So that was mainly council, and we got grant from different other independent sources. And then I became chairman of that and tried to do the cultural movement there. There should be cultural movement so that people get know Bengali culture, our poets, our writers, our artists, and chair there. So that's how my involvement in the community came.
Initiation.
Initiation of that, and then people come to know. And I already got this trade union links. And Calisona, there was a place in Docklands that is closed now, near here somewhere, not far from Bow. There was a fire in there. They used to make accessories of Ford companies. And there was a Bengali worker died there, burned because of health and safety reason. Got involved in that homelessness campaign. I got involved. Life is very colorful in those human rights. Anywhere human rights movement, I was there trying to help people that look, and mainly if their migrants are there, trying to help them legally and otherwise, campaign-wise. And that's how I come to know the work of this country, the organization. Then the avenues open in JCW, I come to that. And then there was Claude Moraes was the director at that time, and he got the nomination for MEP here.
Right.
And then the situation became vacant. The post became vacant, and I applied, and luckily I got that job.
Standing up for others' rights, see, did you ever find yourself in a wrong foot and in any trouble, any situation that you didn't like?
Every day I had to be so careful about it. And of course I felt, I'm so lucky that I used to, on my living do, I was telling JCWI that at least I didn't do a great gaffe somewhere, that JCWI was tarnished, their name was tarnished. Try to keep it very balanced, I gave hundreds of interviews, not because of my post, I was at JCWI. Every time immigration was in the news every day.
You would be the first port of call for
First
journalists.
port of call for everything. I used to do BBC, ITV, one studio to another studio. I was running and everything. But we said things in measured way. And because of my legal training at Tahrir Law Center, and then I had to say things in a measured way, and then I did not fall in trouble in those kind of things. But I'm fortunate for that. But I also said things courageously because I thought I was telling the truth. I was working for the people, those who are suffering. And the people, those who are downtrodden, the suffering, oppressed, if you speak for them, you can speak bravely, and if you speak rightly, you can do that.
Let's move to your current position, Migrant Voice, chair of the Migrant Voice. I know it's a UK-based charity, but what does it do?
The Migrant Voice is slightly different than JCWI. Joint Council for the Welfare of Immigrants. They had main USP, unique selling point for that organization is, as I said, the main legal campaigning and then legal work. We used to take the cases on behalf of the clients, on behalf of the migrant, to the higher courts and create precedent-setting cases. And on the basis of that, we argue for their rights. Migrant Voice, as the name suggests, is creating a voice for migrants.
Right.
So what we do, instead of Habib Rahman, or Migrant Voice director is Nazek Ramadan now, and Nazek Ramadan, she's in the news time to time, and I'm in the news also. But we try to create voice for migrants themselves. So if a suffering migrant from Nigeria, affected by some kind of injustice in Britain, we want the Nigerian person to come and speak for his or her the points, and you'll see sometime in BBC and ITVs and all main channels, the immigrant people, those who are just raw immigrant, came newly from their country, they are speaking and giving their voice. This is mainly due to Migrant Voice. They create that. How we do it?
Right, sir. We'll need to take a break again,
Sure.
and then when we come back, we'll go back to Migrant Voice and the rest of the story from you. Okay?
Sure.
Thank you for being with us, and I hope that you're enjoying the show as much as we have, and we'll see you after this short break. Thank you.